There are a lot of lessons someone can learn from playing video games. I remember back in the day when games were just for entertainment, and if you were a gamer, you're rotting your brain, wasting your life, and bound to become a violent criminal in the future. But things have changed, and gaming has become a lot more mainstream, which I think is pretty cool. But the most important thing I've noticed is what gaming can teach people about life. Depending on the type of games you play, you can learn resource management, storytelling skills, hand-eye coordination, and most importantly, in my opinion, resilience. Take Souls-like games, for example. Whether it's Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Hollow Knight, Jedi Survivor, you can learn resilience by facing the same boss and dying over and over again, but learning something new with each failed attempt before eventually succeeding. That's a pretty valuable skill to have in life. But there are a lot of games out there, and a lot more ways to learn resilience. So for games that are slower with their combat, like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy, you can learn the same skill in a different, but just as important way. So this is how I've been learning to be more resilient lately. I am very excited for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined to come out. One of the things that excites me the most is that there are no random encounters. Every monster, every enemy you can fight is clearly visible on the overworld. This isn't something new for the genre per se, but it is a feature not present in the Dragon Quest I to III HD 2D remakes. As more classic takes on the genre, they have random encounters that can hit you at any point on the overworld map, not just in tall grass like Pokemon. Random encounters as a concept are either beloved by many gaming aficionados or hated by many others who see it as a waste of time, as an old, outdated combat system that results in a lack of control over their environment. I've played a lot of Dragon Quest games, and random encounters never really bothered me. It was a time for me to just kind of turn my brain off, listen to a podcast, and do some grinding. But as I was playing these remakes, I started to get pretty frustrated with the encounter rate. There were some instances where I was just trying to get to a certain castle or dungeon, just trying to get from one town to another, and the number of random encounters was never ending. I was starting to wish I could just see them on the field so I could run around them. So I didn't want to do anything like change the game's difficulty to avoid encounters, but that's when I realized this was a reflection of real life. When you're first starting out in the world, you have a goal. It could be to get a certain job, make a certain amount of money, get into a relationship, start a family, whatever it may be. And those random encounters are the obstacles along your path to reaching that goal. Things you just can't avoid. For example, losing your keys right as you have to head out to work, or getting sick right before going on vacation. The things that aren't the end of the world, but just really frustrating to deal with. And so it's kind of comforting for me to make that realization that even though something is frustrating, that I am building resilience in my own life, and I'm learning to identify what is a big obstacle or small obstacle. When an unforeseen challenge arises, I will be more prepared. I'll have this mindset shift that, well, this is just a random encounter. This isn't a boss fight or even a mini boss fight, just a random encounter. I've gone through these so many times, so I know I can get through this one, and that's comforting. When you start to see things as just random encounters, as things you don't have control over, but things you know you can overcome, everything gets a little bit easier. I feel more confident in myself to be able to overcome them, more prepared for the future. So if right now, you're in a place where life just kind of sucks, maybe nothing crazy is happening, but you're just taking hit after hit, and you feel like eventually something is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Just remember, this isn't a boss fight. It's just another small obstacle. You've already overcome so much. The fact that you are here today is proof that you have faced dozens, if not hundreds, of random encounters and mini boss fights. These have leveled you up to the point where you are at right now, so you are much more prepared to face those larger challenges than you would be if you never had those smaller ones. You're a lot stronger than you think you are. And for those of you that are dealing with big challenges right now, illness, grief, the things that aren't just day-to-day frustrations, whatever it may be, remember that you have overcome so much already. You're ready for this. So go take on that boss. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about today. When you're faced with daily challenges, just think of it as grinding, okay? With it, you'll gain more experience, be better prepared for bigger challenges in the future, and you're going to win. That's all. Talk to you later.